Oh yeah, what's going on, y'all? No, the video yesterday messed up, but that's okay. We're back for some jams. Look at that look. Yeah, you know, Demogorgon Busters. You're getting a little highlight. You're not ready to see what's down there. You're gonna get the 1-800 number. You're having some Demi problems. 555-2398. Be surprised. So, this title is funny to me. Only bad PlayStation 5 games will go to Xbox. Now, y'all, this is the funny thing. You know how we made the video yesterday? We figured out what Nate actually said, right? And which that's fine because it kind of syncs in line with what I was thinking. But what I don't understand, and this is the funny part, is why do you have to put your title as only bad PS5 games? Like Sony is making a whole entire operation to say, let's just select some crappy games and let's throw them some scraps, and you know what I mean? And he even include live service in that. He's just saying only bad PS5 games. Guys, it's literally clearly a clickbait, and he's trying to hit that algorithm. As I was telling people earlier, there's certain things you could do, the algorithm will hit it. But if you try something outside of that, it won't respond. Interesting stuff. He knows. He strong arms the shit out of it, and it's just funny to me. And guys, you know we got to do it. Let's clean her off. We got to lick the back end, if you get what I mean. I didn't do that though, but he probably does that. Let's get ready for it. Is the headline right here? It's telling you everything. It's Xbox slamming time. Everything but PlayStation. Let's go.
There's been a lot of talk about the value of exclusives, and
what an act he's putting on right there. What happened to that DreamcasGuy intro I know? He's changing things up here. And he's very serious. You can talk about PlayStation that much? I'll show you.
whether it is that since Xbox went third party, is that why the Xbox is dead? Now, I want to talk about this today because...
There it is. You know there can't be a video without that. He said it. He put it in the air. Kepler L2. Zuby Tech. DreamcasGuy, man. Every single... Guys, every single Twitter that he shares, I notice, and things that he highlight, always usually in line with PlayStation Fanboy accounts. Zuby Tech has me blocked, right? Perfect music for him. Let's go to Zuby Tech, right? These are people that couldn't handle what I said about PlayStation. Perfect song for you, DreamcasGuy. Isn't that very interesting? Remember Nib was before that? Then that William guy who said, Nib, look, you got some competition. Let's continue, though. Just saying.
There has been a lot of discussion about whether we're going to see the good PlayStation games going to Xbox. Because at this point, we do know that live service games that are being made or funded by Sony are going to Xbox.
DreamcasGuy, you don't want people to get good video games? No, he wants only bad PlayStation 5 games to go. See, this is DreamcasGuy. Nobody else. Well, no, I can't say that, but you guys get what I mean in his own unique world. Look at that look. He's not happy. Look at that picture, guys. It goes together, doesn't it, with this music? You know when you play Mario, those little characters. Only on PlayStation. Gotta handle it with care. Reforge, you know, it's like, you better make sure there's no dust on it. See, we got a thing with PlayStation here. The whole slate's got to be clean. Sony will never go third party. As long as they don't go third party like Microsoft, they will not be third party. I need y'all to understand that. Hello guys, this is DreamcasGuy here. And I want to talk about only bad PlayStation 5 games going to Xbox. But when you see this Helldivers picture, oh, we see it. And that look, picture paints 1,000 words. Nuh-uh, they're not having it, y'all.
Some degree. Helldivers, expansions for Destiny and stuff, those are going to Xbox. They already have release dates and stuff, right? But now, people are basically saying, are we ever going to see the good stuff? Spider-Man, Uncharted Collection. Are we going to actually see the games that sell PlayStations make that jump? Well, a new leak came out from Nate the Hate. Now, Nate the Hate, obviously, extremely good track record. He's leaked all sorts of stuff about PlayStation games, Xbox games, and done a lot of crazy leaks about Nintendo Directs and stuff. And essentially, he said, I don't think the actually great stuff that sells systems are going to make the leap. Now, the reason I wanted to talk about this is that I think this is a very dynamic situation. I don't actually think that currently things are set in stone. Like, let's talk about Xbox. Originally, the Xbox, it was just a tiny experiment. Okay, we're only going to have games on the Xbox console. Okay, we'll have stuff on Game Pass. And then after a bit, they said, all right, games will come to Xbox and to PC day and date. After a while, though, now they said, all right, let's put 4 games onto PlayStation 5. And they sold like crazy. Now every game is coming to PlayStation 5, even brand new stuff. Think about Doom the Dark Ages was a big, expensive, ambitious project. And where does it sell most? On the PlayStation 5. And I think that they're following the money. I do think the fact that, honestly, Microsoft did not originally plan to be third party, but actually getting those big moolah bucks, now they realize, oh, PlayStation gamers buy stuff. Nintendo Switch 2 people buy stuff. People on Steam actually buy stuff, whereas Xbox gamers don't buy anything. So my thought, and the whole point of this video, is I want to take a look at the conversation around this, because some people are still trying to act like exclusives aren't that crucial to long-term success. I see a lot of people saying that even if they took a couple big tentpole things, if they took some really, really crazy stuff like Spider-Man and put it on an Xbox, would that really hurt PlayStation? In my opinion, yes.
We already went over this. No, because they already won the generation. They got the digital carryover. Most people buy PlayStation for third party. Even when they do buy those 10 flagship games, they have a limit to what they can do on a movie rush game. I've seen the movie. I've been through it. Even if I'm going to go get the platinum, or if I want to replay the movie, I've seen it. You know what I mean? After that, where am I going? I'm going to third party. They're not Nintendo dropping 7, 8 games every single year nonstop. No. Sony's trying to get money hats and all that around that with their, exclusives and time exclusives now. And that works for them and their hardware manufacturing company. They're always going to move PlayStations, regardless of whether there's first party there like that or not. And that's already been set and established for a good while. So it's not going to damage them like you think. People are just not understanding, man. I'm telling you, it's not going to work the way you think. They're just falling for the same stuff they fall for every generation. It's the same thing, I'm telling you. Watch.
Exclusives do matter. I've been spending...
They do, but not like they do in the Nintendo world. Because they made it like that. Sony just came in third party. Like I said, it was just them, and then Sega was the closest. And then after that, no. You know what I mean? Microsoft had Halo, yeah. But Bungie, and one big game that kept on bringing people into the platform for a little bit. And then after that, it just stopped having that power after a while. And it was fun while it lasted, of course. Everybody enjoyed it. Whoever wanted to get into that, of course. But, yeah, man, it's just like I said with the handheld world, console world, everything. Those worlds are hard to win in if you don't have the exclusives. and are winning in other demographics because it works. But trying to do that now, nah, man. Sony has the right method and model for them. They know what's best for them, not these fanboys that can't handle the decision that they're making in front of them and they want to fight against it. Get out of their way. That's the way they think. But we hear you, though. Keep sharing your tears.
In this entire weekend playing Mario Galaxy on my Nintendo Switch 2 and having an absolute blast with it. And I got to be honest,
amazing
if I
game.
could play that on my PlayStation, if I could play that on my PC, not emulated, you know what I mean? I'd probably be doing that. But because I can only play that on my Nintendo Switch 2, that's where I'm playing it. Exclusives are essential to sales success. I mean, the main game I've been playing this year on my PlayStation 5, besides third-party stuff, has been Death Stranding 2. A place I can only play Death Stranding 2. Let's break it down. Let's take a look at these leaks, and let's take a look at a lot of the conversation around this. Hi, hope you're having a great day. I am DreamcasGuy. If you could please give this video a like and subscribe.
All this stuff the DreamcasGuy is doing here. Yeah, man. So, what you, like, this is my thing. Sony's still going to be Sony for the PS6 era. Watch, it's the same thing. They're just getting too insecure. First, I see the damn hand being played first. What is it going to be that they pick this in that category? Not bad games, DreamcasGuy. Why would Sony do all that just to give you bad games? Like, it's not making any sense. You should just say only live service PlayStation 5 games will go to Xbox. That would be better. But saying bad games is like saying, I hope subconsciously that only live service games go, and if Sony chooses anything, it's just going to be bad trash because Xbox is dead. Nobody cares about that dead platform. DreamcasGuy. Sony, what are you doing? Don't put your games on a dead platform. It's like, well, see what Sony's going to do first and see how things play out before we jump that gun. I know everything everybody tells me. You know what I've said before. But my thing is I want to see how things play out. That's how I am. Outro. All right, let's continue.
If you haven't already. Now, I wanted to start with this sales chart we've actually looked at before, which is that this is why, honestly, I am still in a spot where I just don't think that PlayStation is going to get the sort of reward that Xbox did. Originally, Microsoft put just a couple games onto PlayStation and they instantly took over the sales chart. When they dropped Sea of Thieves and Grounded onto PlayStation 5, those were the top selling games, like instantly, because people were so curious. Oh, it's season 25 of Sea of Thieves. We have 7 years of content to explore in Sea of Thieves for $40. Of course I'm going to buy it. Whereas a lot of Xbox people just don't buy stuff. Like, look at this. Even the top selling Xbox games are not in the top 20 overall monthly sales chart. People just don't buy games.
See, the the thing is that everything he's saying is like, dude, but everybody knows this. I've seen people come on Twitter too. I'm not downplaying what you're saying. You're saying I buy games. Yeah, I bet you do. And 1,000 people could come and say that. But when you look at the major demographic of the Xbox marketplace, yeah, nobody's buying those games. It's very low. We're just talking about the major percentage. Yeah, that's obvious, DreamcasGuy. That's why Microsoft gives paychecks to put stuff on Game Pass to pay for those sales. They've been doing that for years. And they try to make up for it through other vacuum aspects. So, like I said, number 1 on Xbox could be like number 12 on PlayStation. And number 20 on Nintendo. Be like 15,000 sales. That's just something to realize. So I don't care whether it's not selling more on Xbox from a gamer perspective. If we want to move to the center of love like everybody says, and we want to look at this from a heart-to-heart perspective, the only reason I'm not against this is because I'm not against other players being able to play on other platforms game if the leaders themselves, come on, Cameron, to finish this, if the leaders themselves say so. If they said so, then that means all restrictions are off. Not you, the one who removed the restrictions, says, yes, it can go over there. Like Helldivers coming to Xbox. That's a restriction nobody would have said a long time ago. And I've always said day one, and I was talking to a close friend of mine, honest to God, you know how very serious I take that. We're very close. That I told him that this game fits perfect in the Xbox world. I don't understand why Sony's missing these live service windows. This whole time they could have been making a lot of money by having it there, but they missed that window. So I think one day, though, they should let Arrow go ahead and do that. And I wasn't thinking, oh, because these games are not selling on Xbox, this shouldn't happen. That's kind of not the point. Like I said, from a gamer aspect, outside of the business aspect of it not selling, you want as many people to get that experience as possible. If they said it's okay, then what is there really to argue about? Now, if it never came and people were sitting there debating, I can understand if you have something hard to argue against. But when Sony's doing this, that's when you guys don't understand. You really look like fools. Because what are you doing? Perfect song. Had to say my 2 cents. For him.
It's on Xbox, and even if it is on the top sales on that system, overall, the numbers are so incredibly low. I've seen a lot of people almost afraid of the idea of PlayStation going third party because Sony has definitely been testing the waters with putting PlayStation games in non-PlayStation spots. We saw stuff like Patapon is now on the Nintendo Switch and on Steam. Of course, we have been seeing the initiative where about 2 years after the game originally came out, they drop it onto Steam. In fact, a lot of the crazy stuff is that they've reported stuff like God of War has sold tens of millions of copies on PC, which does make me think that Sony is probably going to really double down on making even bigger, more ambitious PC ports. I do think that we're going to keep seeing games go to PC. Ghost of Yotei obviously is going to be the big October release for the PlayStation 5. I would not be surprised if this time next year, like summer next year, we have a release date for Ghost of Yotei on PC, and I wouldn't even be surprised if it has some sort of special PC exclusive features, because I mean, that's where the money is at. PlayStation has realized they can double their profits with just 2 audiences, right? Whereas you don't get that same effect with Xbox. If they actually really spend all that money to make it run as good as possible on an Xbox Series X or a Series S, although I don't even think it would run on the Series S. I just don't think it'd really be profitable.
Oh, no, my audio cut out. No. Okay, so basically what I was saying, look at his face, it's a serious look. Not happening this time. Oh my God, that's annoying. Anyways, so, yeah, I'm so glad I caught that. I gotta keep this, the same thing as you guys use with the armchair and all that. Yeah, every time I reset my computer, I forgot that the mic thing changes back to that one thing and goes down to 1. I don't know that, okay. But anyways, basically what I was saying too is that, like I was saying before, if you think about it, guys, everything that he's been sharing, I mean, it's just right in front of our face. Then Nib, then that one guy, and then Zuby Tech. DreamcasGuy making you clearly look like a PlayStation fanboy in your video. Like, I tag people that are on other platforms to get their attention. Yes, I've done that before, but I'm not coming to do no fanboy nonsense like that and then saying every day that another platform is dead consistently. Like, it just makes it seem like you really want to push that PlayStation versus Xbox narrative in that sort of direction by the way you're doing your content. And I don't think that it's an accident. I think Dreamcast Guy's a smart guy. I don't think he's dumb at all. He knows what he's doing. Just to let y'all know, I do not think that he's a dumb guy. No, I think this guy's smart and clever, and he knows what he's doing. Regardless, even if you get mad at him, he knows that the algorithm is going to help him. So, yeah, that's my thing on that.
For them. But I have seen a lot of people basically saying that the problem with PlayStation right now is that it does seem like, in a lot of ways, we've very much lost that essence of classic PlayStation. Things like this, in my opinion, are incredibly important. Maybe it's just me, maybe it's that I spent too much time in PlayStation forums and stuff, but it does feel like there used to be this sense that PlayStation was constantly churning out games.
I mean, you definitely are influenced by PlayStation, that's for sure. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with being influenced by something, but it's just the way certain people go about it.
Year development cycle, like, people can't even imagine this now, but you used to constantly be hearing about PlayStation exclusives. Now you're lucky if you hear about
This is the Jeremy. I feel like Dreamcast Guy's the guy, like, he walks in his house, this is what he thinks of Xbox. The Xbox is dead as his doormat. He gets up and he's wiping off his feet on it, puts his dirt on it, and everything just goes there. Then all the good stuff is PlayStation. Xbox is dead, so I'm wiping my feet on it. It's my doormat. Like that metaphor for farming. Let me just grab this and stomp on this and let's get to the good PlayStation stuff. It's just funny because I kind of like, that's the way I'm kind of like seeing it in certain ways. And I think that people do that too, used to like Xbox, and they're subconsciously still so mad at them. I understand, I've been mad at Microsoft for a while. And that's just the way they go about it. Or some people just don't care. They will just strong arm that and use the hell out of it.
one every year, right? Even
I'm going to do it if I'm actually mad.
The fact that all their games are multiplayer and live service. As much as I love some of the live service stuff they've done, I miss their focus on single-player games. Tight, great stories, worlds I cared about. I mean, do you know how much the internet would break in half if we actually had a new Infamous? Like, or even an Infamous collection of the classic games would absolutely, it'd sell like hotcakes. But
they're not going to do that, and the reason why they're not going to do that is because Spider-Man is selling too much. It's about the money. And you know how much Infamous would cost? You think it's going to sell those copies like Spider-Man? Sony was thinking about that single-player project idea like, man, that'll be expensive to make, and I don't even know if we can get Infamous to sell 10, 12, 15 million copies. Just keep making Marvel games. Right? Just like, you know, those big budgets of Marvel movies, but they're going to make it back. They're just hitting that trend. And they got lucky that they got Spider-Man in the 90s to help them with that right now. And I don't even know if y'all knew, Sony had a bigger deal in the 90s. They could have had the whole Marvel franchise. They denied it because they thought it was just Spider-Man. And remember, that's when Warner Bros. Was dominating and Batman was taking over everything. Imagine if they really had a seer or a prophet that could be like, in the future, what are you doing, man? That's probably the biggest regret Sony ever had. But I think it's good. It's a blessing in disguise that happened because they were money had and monopolized all those characters and worlds, and they would not be able to be expanded out anywhere. So I gotta think that that's good. But then again, what was the double-edged sword of the curse? Disney got it. Just saying. So we kind of get the idea here. The headline of only bad PlayStation 5s going to Xbox is just kind of stupid. There's a better way of clickbaiting people with something that's actually truthful. Because you don't know what games are going to Xbox. So how can I say that only bad games are going to Xbox, but I don't know what the hell they're selecting? And I don't know what the hell they truly mean by out of year and mid-range. I mean, I do, but I think you guys get what I mean. You don't know what they're going to select. And I don't see if I would make an operation to pay people $250,000 to $350 million. If I paid them all that, why would I be only selecting bad games to make no profit? That people are just going to get pissed off at me and my operation's going to fail. Logically, it makes no sense to me, guys. I'm just saying. So let's continue. I think what Sony wants is a lot of live service operations going because live service is a lot of work. So you constantly have to update live service. So they need people that are going to be that busy weekly doing maintenance, updates, and keeping that stuff on the other platforms. Now, if we talk about that, oh yeah, that's going to happen along with some whatever the hell else they want to grab. And if you got stuff like Marathon coming, fair game, that Horizon MMO that has not been canceled, and wherever else, yeah, that's a lot of games to consistently keep up and maintain through all those other platforms. Yeah, now we're talking sense. I can agree with you on that. That for sure is going to happen. But that does not mean that the other doors are closed, because it's quite obvious the way people say things. Now they're aware that at least some smaller games are coming because Nate said it, right? And they believe him. He's been pretty on point. So I can't sit there and trash the guy either. Just saying, just being reasonable here. So yeah, as far as I'm concerned, I don't see only bad PlayStation 5 games going to Xbox. I think that I would want to select some good games, even if they weren't my flagship games. And that's what I have to think about this. Let me know what you guys think about this. Like, comment, subscribe. You know, there's more coming. And let's give him a little bit of an outro of this music.
PlayStation clearly just doesn't even care. Less contractors, more staff positions, fund indie teams with proven prototypes, shorten the scope, form 30-people special teams of first-party studios working on original, unique prototypes. This is the thing, is that the fact that you can even list off this many things that clearly, provably PlayStation is doing wrong, I think it shows a sign that they need to focus more about how to get the games in people's hands instead of just, I don't know, the next big ambitious live service game. But here's the tweet that really kind of kicked off this conversation again.
There it is again, another one.
There was a job posting that said that they're working on putting PlayStation games on Xbox. It actually specifically said that. It said the future of the platform of games we're currently trying to establish isn't just on the PlayStation home console. It's on PC, it's on mobile, it's on Nintendo Switch 2, and it's on Xbox. Now, a lot of people have pointed out that technically that job posting actually wasn't new. It only got noticed by people recently, but it's actually very much a job that's been around for a long time. Basically, there was already a guy in charge of making sure that live service games went to Xbox, but it's the first time that people saw it publicly, and it raised some eyebrows. But Nate the Hate says, my opinion remains that it will stay live service and smaller games. But we'll see what Sony has planned. I'm not expecting anything in the immediate future. Now, these are the tweets. I want to go through this whole thread here of people kind of screaming about it. But I do think that right at the start, this is my thing. Xbox goes more and more third party because they're following the money. I've said that already in this video, but my point is the fact that when they started to try even testing out stuff on PlayStation and it sold like hotcakes, yeah, they doubled down. I do think that even if we start to see some degree of it, if we start to actually see PlayStation put a bigger, even a AA, one of their mid-tier projects, put something like, I don't know, Gravity Rush, which I love a lot, put Gravity Rush on Xbox, it's not going to suddenly be a success. If they put Uncharted on Xbox, I just don't think it's going to sell. They're not going to have that same reward system.
Oh, Uncharted would definitely sell, and Gravity Rush is a good game. So even if you're talking about smaller games, DreamcasGuy, where's the bad games at? There is none. And all of this, I've covered that in my video I did yesterday or whatever. You guys have saw that with Nathan Haight. I've updated that, and I gave him the credit that he deserves. It's called being intelligent and having integrity, which is missing in this world a lot. So he's admitting himself that even if Gravity Rush goes, it's not going to sell that well. Yeah, but Gravity Rush is a great game, and he admitted that he loved it. Like I said, so they will put games over there, and they're going to put games on Nintendo's platforms. Have the floor now.
That's now been what Xbox is chasing. They're not going to go, wow, 4 games sold that well, let's put every game. I think they're going to put a couple of games, they're going to bomb, and they're going to go, okay, let's stick with PC. Let's stick with PlayStation. More games will come, more Sony games will come to Xbox. I don't know anything about Lego Horizon going to Xbox, but even if it did, would anyone care? Now, Detective Seeds chimed into this. If you're going to post Nate the Hate 2 or others, at least give the guy the courtesy of posting both of his comments so he's covered. A lot of people have been taking this out of context, of just showing parts of these tweets, saying, yes, more Sony games are coming to Xbox. But I wanted to really look at this because some people are still mad at Nate for posting this, where essentially he's just trying to clarify. A lot of people are saying, oh, he's replying too slow. He's not staying on top of this. I think Nate the Hate gets absolutely flooded with tens of thousands of comments a day asking for clarity or specifics and stuff.
He's right, though. But you guys get the point here. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. Had to redo this, make it long and entertaining for you guys to make up for what happened yesterday. And I had to do it anyways. All right, y'all. Peace out. Let me know what y'all think. DSP my channel, please. Later.